you're stressed, there's a flutter in your heart, a sinking feeling in your stomach. You need to perform. Come on, you can do it! But then a voice in your head starts saying, what if? What if I fail? What if I get injured? What if? And so the conversation goes. Come on, now's the time. Let's go, let's do it. And then what if? Performance anxiety. It's a negative emotional state that affects performance. Trait anxiety is what you're predisposed to and your anxiety levels. At a state anxiety is what happens day to day, moment to moment. It may fluctuate quite significantly. Cognitively, your anxiety levels may all be your state of worry, how you think about things, whereas your physiological reaction is a somatic anxiety. So how does arousal and anxiety affect your performance? There's a multidimensional theory where it negatively correlates anxiety with your performance. This is potentially very true. As anxiety climbs, your performance decreases. There is also the option of arousal, and that inverted U where the peak performance is in the middle. Under arousal means your care for what is happening is reduced. Over arousal, too anxious, too hyped up, and the performance decreases again. Peak arousal, it combined with the appropriate level of anxiety, can lead to peak performance. But how are the negative focuses? What happens? How do you feel? You may feel increased muscle tension, which means you get tired more quickly. The fatigue sets in much quicker than expected. Decreased coordination, because the increases in muscle tension don't allow you to move your body. Do you feel like your legs and arms don't belong to you anymore? Or your brain is telling you to do something, but it just doesn't feel right. There are also changes in attention. Your attention can waver, it's too broad, too narrow, you're focusing the wrong way, you're thinking too far ahead from what you need to be thinking on, or focusing on what happened in the past and miss what happens in front of you. You may also notice in the days, hours, seconds leading up to that you have less sleep. You may have an increased predisposition to being sick, all from thinking ahead and the anxious symptoms that you have. So how do we combat this? We can combat it in many ways, but the most important one is understanding yourself. Or if you're in the education or a coach, you need to understand how it impacts your athletes. You want the best performance out of them every single time, whether it be at training or whether it be in competition or performance time. You can also think about meditation ways such as mindfulness to clear your head and clear the thoughts to move forward. Or perhaps you need to use imagery to get the number and the feeling in the brain and the muscles activated to a stage that you may understand. So here is a scenario. I know all about stress and performance anxiety from myself as an athlete, myself as a coach, and for the gymnasts that I work with. They all range. Some of them perform much better at competitions and during performance time than they do at training. They have the same issues, but their desire to gain a competitive edge trumps their anxious feeling that they might feel at training. Others, on the other hand, performance anxiety gets to them. They will stand there, almost freeze, because they don't know what to do. And that feeling is there. It's there, that sinking feeling in their stomach, that heart racing, and the thoughts, my body is not belonging to myself. And how do we go about it? Everybody needs to be different. You need to understand what makes them tick, what makes them anxious, what pressure to put on them before the competition, during the competition, and how to deal with their performance anxiety. What are they thinking about? What could go wrong? Really, you standing there on a beam thinking about going backwards, blind, a lot could go wrong. But they're ready. They're not doing it for any other reason than being prepared and having done it 1,000 times before. So it is important as an athlete, as a coach, at any point in sport psychology to understand anxiety and how it impacts athletes.